Porsche has an amazing machine on its hands with the Taycan electric sedan. Some of us, though, still love the long roof, and Porsche has delivered a juiced-up e-gift. Say hello to the Porsche Taycan Cross Turismo. Yes, the outside of this one looks like the love child of the Panamera Sport Turismo and a Taycan, and that works just fine. Compared to the Taycan sedan, the Cross Turismo gets different front and rear fascia treatments. There's a lower lip accent and wheel arches. Those arches have a satin finish on the 3 lower trims and appear gloss black on the top spec Turbo S. At each corner, the standard wheel size is 20 inches, while 21-inch wheels are available. And here in the States, we get just one option with respect to the roof. It's a full glass pano setup with provisions laid in for a roof rack. This specific car we're testing also has something Porsche calls the off-road design package. This adds extra exterior cladding while also setting the default ride height at 10 millimeters higher than a standard Cross Turismo. On the inside, the Cross Turismo feels very much like the Taycan. You just now have more rear storage space and more rear passenger headroom. The most important bit, of course, is how does it drive? Well, I'm here on Angeles Crest Highway, and I am here to tell you that it drives oh so well. I've driven the Taycan in 2 iterations, the non-Cross Turismo. I've driven the 4S and the Turbo S, and both are awesome. This Cross Turismo here is the Taycan 4. It is the lowest spec. Porsche doesn't like the term entry level or base car because this does have some options, but it is essentially the cheapest way into the Cross Turismo family, the Taycan 4. So we have 470 horsepower in an all-electric wagon. And this is the starting point, and that is fantastic. It still has the 800-volt architecture. It has the big performance battery because that comes standard. When I first got into the car, it said the driving range was about 270 miles. I hit it to Sport Plus. I pointed the nose towards Angeles Crest Highway, and I'm going. Ooh, did you hear that? That was the slight change in the 2-speed gearbox. That's an advantage this has over the current crop of Teslas and other single-speed electric vehicles, is it allows you to, it's more of a performance thing. Like a Hyundai Kona electric does not need a 2-speed gearbox. This is what allows this to reach higher speed. So it gets the punch with the first gear, and then it hands it off to the second gear to keep you going faster and faster. But this doesn't feel any different than a standard Taycan, and that's a very good thing because that is a wonderful driving machine. The steering feel is excellent, the seats are fantastic, and then you can feel good about driving your Cross Turismo even more so than the Taycan because this vehicle is fully carbon neutral in its production. So from the start to when it's delivered, the production of a Cross Turismo is carbon neutral. A Taycan is almost carbon neutral, but it's not quite there yet. They're working to get there. But working with their suppliers to make sure all of it is offset is a great thing. In fact, Porsche is trying to push even harder with the Cross Turismo to make this vehicle carbon neutral for the duration of its life cycle, which Porsche considers to be 10 years. So that's even more amazing. They're showing they are committed to keeping vehicles like this alive for as long as possible, engaging vehicles. It will be neat to see if they can do that to their gas-powered cars too, but I'm sure that's a different question. Maybe it's even easier though, because probably doing the carbon offsets for the battery production might be the most difficult part. I'm not sure about that. That's just me wondering. So this, for me, is a dream vehicle. It is very expensive, hence it's a dream and not a vehicle I'm going to go out and buy. I don't even need the insane 750 horsepower Turbo S. I'm not saying I wouldn't want it, but now we have a $200,000 electric wagon and it's a whole different conversation. But every range of this from 4, 4S, and Turbo is fantastic, making great power. I'd love to see a GTS version land somewhere. Same thing for the Taycan. I'd love to see a GTS version land somewhere in the middle of the mighty powerful trim walk. And this is a super customizable vehicle. Porsche says it's their most customizable vehicle in that before getting into Porsche exclusive options or performance options or other interior technological bits, just styling elements, there are 22,000 different combinations of things to choose from, which is absolutely bonkers. So if you want to make your Taycan Cross Turismo your own, you can. I'm really curious to get this car for a longer period of time so I can put gravel mode to the test. It's supposed to let the car get a little bit more loose than it would in the more restrictive modes and really use it in an off-road setting. Like, not a crazy off-road setting, but it seems like it'd be perfect for bombing a fire road. But here on Angeles Crest, it is wonderful, it is fantastic. I knew I was going to love it, and all this does is validate that fact. This is one of my favorite vehicles that you can buy today, right now, if you are fortunate to be able to afford one. This is an all-electric Porsche wagon, and it is a wonderful machine. It utilizes the 800-volt architecture found on the Taycan and can only be had with the larger performance battery pack. This provides 83.7 kilowatt hours of usable energy, which is fed out to a pair of electric motors. The starting point for the Cross Turismo family is this $90,900 Taycan 4 we're driving. It produces 470 horsepower in launch control mode, or 375 horsepower while cruising. It also delivers 368 pound-feet of torque. Next, at 110,300 is the Taycan 4S Cross Turismo. It makes a maximum of 562 horsepower or 482 horsepower around town and 479 pound-feet of torque. After that, we have the Taycan Turbo Cross Turismo with a starting price of $153,500. Here there's 670 horsepower on tap during launches, or 616 horsepower and 626 pound-feet of torque when not whipping off the line. Finally, the monstrous Taycan Turbo S Cross Turismo starts at $187,600. It boasts a wicked 750 horsepower during launch control mode, or just 616 horsepower normally. It also has an insane 774 pound-feet of torque on tap. Every model gets the 2-speed gearbox, and every model can charge at speeds up to 270 kilowatts. And if you can find a 270 kilowatt charger, you can go from 5% to 80% state of charge in just 22.5 minutes. Porsche hasn't reinvented the wheel here, but it has given us an all-electric Porsche wagon that is amazing to drive and an all-around wonderful machine.